Good offensive quarter against a really good defense.
Mark, obviously, Dub came in, scored a ton to start that fourth, but it felt like he was switching between Tatum and Brown defensively. I just wonder what you saw from him tonight in that fourth quarter on that front.
He was great. We don't win the game without him, obviously, but it's the same as I see every night. He competes at a high level defensively. He can take on any matchup. He's growing in confidence on offense, still makes the right plays on offense. He's a really, really good player.
Yeah, and you mentioned the poise, Chris, because I know growth isn't linear, and you always talk about the compete level, which they haven't lacked, but seeing, Dub make shots like that late, Chet make shots like that late, Shea make the shots he hit, did you expect this level? Obviously, Dub came in, scored a ton to start that fourth, but it felt like he was switching between Tatum and Brown defensively. I just wonder what you saw from him tonight in that fourth quarter on that front.
He was great. We don't win the game without him, obviously, but it's the same as I see every night. He competes at a high level defensively. He can take on any matchup. He's growing in confidence on offense, still makes the right plays on offense. He's a really, really good player.
Yeah, and you mentioned the poise, Chris, because I know growth isn't linear, and you always talk about the compete level, which they haven't lacked, but seeing, Dub make shots like that late, Chet make shots like that late, Shea make the shots he hit, did you expect this level?
That's why he's a really good player. It's not just he's not a hired gun scorer.
There was a stretch there in that third quarter when you guys built a big lead. It seemed like those bench guys, Kaysen, Jay Will, some of those guys, it felt like you were kind of contesting every shot. I just wonder what you saw from their defensive effort in that.
Energy, and I thought I give Jay Will a lot of credit. He didn't play in the first half, and we didn't start. We didn't put him in the game till late in the third. We were switching them, and they were just catching a rhythm against the switching, and so I wanted to try changing that up and going coverage, and he's the best guy to do that with, and his readiness was impressive, and we kind of have a culture of that. The guys do a great job of staying ready, and every time a guy goes in and delivers like that in a tough circumstance, it just reinforces that mindset, so I give him a lot of credit.
You talked about it pregame, 43s for them, 52 twos. How do you feel you guys did, making them uncomfortable, making them take shots that they normally don't really want to take in the two-point range?
Good and bad. I thought they definitely, they're a really good offense. They're a really good offense. They not only have top-end talent, but they have really good attacks. They're well coached. They move the ball out of there. They keep the ball ahead of you. They make you pay for mistakes. So it was a great barometer for us tonight. There's a lot in that game that we can learn from, that we need to learn from in order to continue to improve against, obviously, a really quality opponent.
And more than the numbers being good, Josh seems to be more decisive, not thinking as much. Have you seen anything different from him the last few weeks or so?
Yeah, I think as we've talked about, he's getting schemed a different way than he's ever been schemed before. That takes time, to learn. He made shots tonight, but I think, what he's really done that's made him confident and decisive is he's developed a more predictable style of play and around controllable things, movement, cutting. We've added a couple of things for him where he can facilitate and then screen. He did that well tonight. And so when you've got kind of that sourcing on offense, then it doesn't just come down to making and missing shots. And I also think he's really competed defensively.
Mark, with Kristaps, you mentioned some of the lapses. I'm curious, throughout the stretch of the game, it felt like he was reacting to the doubles well, reading them well. Just how much of that did you expect, and how much of the decision-making were you prepared for?
He's really good. That's why they're tough, because, if you don't switch him, then he's teeing up really high percentage shots. The other guys have gravity, and so he forces you. You almost have to switch him to take the jump shooting away, and then when you switch him, he's a great ISO player. He's tall. He can play over switches, so, there's a reason why they're hard to beat.
You guys have put together quite an impressive list of high-quality wins. Just since Christmas, first-place teams in both conferences, defending champs. What have you learned or discovered about your team during this run?
Well, I think they're ambitious, but I also think they put the work in behind that, and there's so many examples of us improving, not only this season but in previous seasons over time, and they have an uncommon ability to block out the noise and to just stay focused on what we need to get better at. And they tend to respond really well to adversity. They turn the page and get to the next one. And they respond very well to some of these little bumps we're getting, where we have a win like this, but they'll look at these plays and they'll look at the game in a sober manner that'll allow us to keep getting better. And as I've said, we've had some early success, but if we want to continue to have success, we have to keep getting better. And I think we have a group that understands that.
Where are those growth opportunities?
Like I said, the execution on both ends of the floor down the stretch, our ability, to understand how to play with a lead. You're up 18. There's a way to win that game in a methodical way that I thought got away from us a little bit tonight. And then individual guys. You can name a guy on the team, and there's plenty of stuff that they need to improve at. And not only improving, but also sustaining the things that we're doing at a high level. It's really hard to play as well as we're playing and to beat a team like Boston. So we also don't want to take for granted the stuff that we're doing well. All right, see you guys.